Hello everyone, this is Rig. Welcome to an episode on Harappan Civilization. After many days, I am making a video, and here we are going to try something new with new handwriting using a pen tab. So there may be some kind of mistakes, and also I am not too much technologically fluent, so please bear with me. So this video is made in accordance to the syllabus of ICSE board, which is also called CISCE board class 9, and all the things that you will see in your book may not be there in your syllabus. Hence, here in this video we are going to discuss totally based on what is there in your syllabus. So let's begin with the sources. So our knowledge of this Harappan civilization is based on archaeological remains, and this is very interesting because archaeology can't be fabricated, means it cannot be made up. Whatever we see in archaeology is original, and that was our first point. In Harappan civilization, we will have to base everything built on archaeological evidences only, and that includes buildings. Then we have pottery, sculptures, and seals. There are many other important things also. We will discuss them one by one. Along with seals, we have burials also. Burial means where the dead bodies were made to rest in peace. And also, archaeological sources are very important because we have no written records. I know my handwriting looks very bad, but this is the best I can do, and I am sure with little bit of practice in future videos it will be better. So please bear with my handwriting. So we have also got number of seals. What are there in the seals? What source of information? Because there are letters engraved, but we cannot read them. Can't be read. So even though there are writings, we cannot read them. And when we cannot read the writings, those kind of writings are called undeciphered. Undeciphered. So the writing has not been read yet. No one can know what is written because we have not been able to analyze and discover or to interpret the Harappan writings. Therefore, major sources of information are based on archaeology. So that is why archaeology becomes very important. Now, for your extra information, what is archaeology? Archaeology includes all the material remains. All the material remains above or below the ground. It can be above or below. It doesn't matter where you get it from. All the material remains means physical things that you get comes under archaeology. So that is why we have archaeology as the only source of interpretation about the Harappan civilization. Now we will go through all the important sources of archaeological information one by one. So starting with the Great bath. So this great bath, as you can see in the picture, has been found from Mohenjo Daro. Sorry, Mohenjo Daro. And what does Mohenjo Daro means? It means mound of the dead. So Mohenjo-daro has a mound, means a hillock kind of structure where we get many dead bodies. Hence it was initially called as mound of the dead. The next information about this uh, great bath structure is that it is a large rectangular tank. You can see in this picture it is on the shape of a rectangle. So it looks more or less like this. Okay, and it has steps on all four sides. So you can see there are steps like this on all four sides. Now some steps are to show the layers of water and some steps are for the humans to climb down. As you can see here in the north and south end, we have steps for humans to descend. So in the north and south, we have steps for people. So on all four sides we have steps, but the northern and southern steps are for the humans to get down in the pool. And there has been huge amount of technological innovation seen in the Great Bath because it was watertight. Watertight means it was leak proof. And how was it made watertight? Tight? First, it was made with burnt bricks. Then there was mortar. Mortar is like the cement of present times. So we had burnt bricks joined with mortar, and there was bitumen and bitumen and gypsum plaster. So these are the important things used to make the water tank watertight. Now, where did the water supply come from? So there is an well in an adjacent room. So just beside the great bath, there is a well. Here, this artificially generated image also shows a well, but it was a little bit farther inside a room. So from the well, the water has supposedly been filled into the great bath. And we have series of rooms and a stairway. Series of rooms. Now these were probably changing rooms. So these series of rooms were probably changing room, and these rooms had two stories. Means there was a superstructure. So two-storied rooms were there, and there was a stairway also which led up. into the second story or into the first floor. So, those rooms, some scholars also believe that the rooms were residences of priests, and some believe that it was for changing clothes. So, these rooms may have been for changing clothes, and it may also have been for priests. Now, priests were very important in any kind of ancient civilization because people believed them to be an agent of God, and that is with the priests they could connect towards the divine beings. And this entire structure may have been used for some kind of ritual bath. Okay, so entire purpose of great bath may have been ritualistic. Now we will go to the importance of great bath. So it throws a light on the culture of Indus Valley Civilization, and also along with that we get architectural planning. Architectural planning. So for the first time we are getting evidences of proper architectural planning, means there was design, there were plans, and accordingly the structure had been made. And also from the fact that it is constructed within a citadel, we get example of the existence of ruling class of people. Okay, and these ruling class probably could mobilize labor and also collect taxes. So we get a caste division in the society, or a classification in the society. This also shows that people knew, people had knowledge of water supply and drainage. So water supply and drainage were very much uh, proof that they were technologically superior than any other ancient civilization of the time. And as we have already discussed, this structure was used for ceremonial bathing. Okay, so it may not have been in function all round the year, it may have been in function only for certain occasions. The next point of discussion is the citadel. Now, if we look at the map of every Harappan city, we will find a structure like this from above. So this was citadel, and the lower town was just beside it like this. So this was the lower town. Lower town was the place where the common people used to live, and citadel was the place where the important people or the high class people used to live. And this was the structure of every Harappan cities, but except in case of Dholavira. So there is a Harappan city in Gujarat which is Dholavira. What was the structure of Dholavira? There was the citadel, then there was the lower town, and then there was another place where probably the laborers used to live. So three layers of the city was there. Now why is citadel so much important? Because it has a lot of elaborate planning. From the construction of the citadel we can understand that it was not sudden, means a lot of planning had been done before actually constructing the citadel, and it had bricks of standardized size. Now, what is the meaning of standardized size? Standardized size means the bricks were same measurements. The bricks were of same measurements everywhere around the citadel. Later on, we will see that they had same measurement bricks all around Harappa. And citadel was obviously raised area, which means that if this is the layer of the citadel, if this is the like level of the citadel, then lower town was here, and then we had river. So here we had citadel, here we had lower town, and then we had the river. So citadel was very much raised, and that is why it is called citadel. So all the raising activities had been done with the help of mud brick platforms. So mud brick platforms were made before constructing any structure in the citadel. And also we find important structures like the great bath, granaries, assembly hall, along with several workshops. Everything was there inside the citadel. So, whatever important findings of Harappa that you get can be said to have been found inside the citadel. Now, why was citadel very important? Because this proves that Harappa was an urban civilization. Means people had the knowledge of city structure. Urbanization always means city. So wherever you find the word city, you can know that it is synonymous with urban. And there was a ruling class of people. Now, what do this ruling class used to do? They probably used to collect taxes, and they were the administrative heads of the civilization. From this ruling class of people, we can understand that there was a social stratification. Means society had different layers. And citadel was also used as a reserve or storage unit. Why? Because we find the existence of granary inside the citadel. So high platform used to protect everyone from floods. Protection from floods. So all these points are to be kept in mind when you write some answer about the citadel. The next important thing is the seals. So seals are very important sources of information for the Harappan civilization. Why? Because seals have been found in large numbers. So many seals have been found all across the Harappan civilization, and almost all the seals have some common features. That is, they have short inscriptions along with pictures like one horned bull. Then we have buffalo. Also, we have tiger, and along with tiger, we have elephant, goat, etc. Many other things we find. One thing which will not be written in your book, but you should know it, that there is no horse in Indus Valley Civilization. There is no horse. This is often asked in many competitive exams. And no horse is very surprising considering the fact that every historical civilization has some kind of horse present in it. So there was no horse in the Indus Valley Civilization. Now, what were these seals made of? Firstly, they were made out of, sorry, they were made out of terracotta. Terracotta means burnt clay. So terracotta was the most important thing or the most common thing. Then it was also made out of two kinds of rocks called steatite and agate. So all these things were used in the making of seals. Most of the seals were square, means length breadth equal, and some seals were also circular or oval in shape. So these were some of the important features of seal. Now what were they used for? They were used for trading activities, so trade. They also may have had some kind of religious significance, so we are going to write religion also, and for the beliefs of people. Religion cannot come without beliefs. Hence, religion and belief always goes hand in hand. Now we will discuss some important seals starting with the Pashupati seal. What is the Pashupati seal? It is a seal where we see figure of a male god. And how is this figure depicted as? This figure has been depicted as has been sitting in a yogic posture. So figure of a male god in yogic posture. So he is shown with three faces. So this god has three faces and is surrounded with four animals. This image of seal is an AI generated image, hence everything may not be accurate, but more or less the seal used to look like this. In many images, you will find the seal is broken in the corners like this. So hardly any Pashupati seal have been found in intact form. Now, many scholars identified this male god as Shiva or Mahadev. So, this male god has been identified as Lord Shiva by many scholars, or it has been also called as Pashupati Mahadeva. Pashupati Mahadeva means Lord of animals. The word Pashupati means Lord of animals. And this is a deity connected with animals and meditation. So yoga used to exist in India since a very long time, and that can be evidenced with the help of Pashupati seal. Next we have the unicorn seal. Now unicorn seal, I did not get any authentic picture without copyright. There are many pictures available of unicorn seal in the internet. You can go through them, but I cannot put them in my videos because of copyright issues. My channel is not that famous, hence I don't want any problem in the beginning of the video itself. So unicorn seal shows a figure of a mythical animal. Mythical animal means it does not exist in reality. And also many scholars believe that it is the figure of an animal which had two horns, but from the side when we see it, we get to see only one horn. So unicorn seal is the picture of a mythical animal, and it is the most famous seal in Indus Valley Civilization or Harappan Civilization, because it shows the imagination or creative abilities of the Harappan people. It also has inscribed signs. Inscribed signs, but we cannot read it. So it is undeciphered. So even though many signs are there, we cannot read it. One day, if we read it, we'll come to know what a lot more about Harappan civilization. So these seals may have been used. So what was its use? It was probably used for identification, fication, or communication. Now you have seen logos of many organizations. These seals may have functioned as logos. Every major business house or every major educational institution, everywhere, even government has their own pictures. So logos may have been the primary purpose of each of these inscriptions. Now we will see what were the seals important for, its use and purpose. So seals have been used by traders. Traders were the primary users of seal. So seals must have been used by traders, and after a bag of goods was there. So when we have a bag of goods, it may have been tied with a rope. So tied with rope. Then the knot was covered with wet clay. There will be a knot, and that knot was covered with wet clay. And this wet clay had the stamp of a seal. Sorry. So this wet clay had the stamp of a seal. So if the seal is intact, if the seal is intact, then the goods must have not been tampered. But if the seal was broken, that means someone has done something with the goods. So seals were a sign of authenticity. So seals were a sign of authenticity, and it was a major source of belief. So unbroken seal means the goods had reached the destination without being tampered. So that is how seals were very important. And this may have also served as identity marks or cards. So the purpose of identity cards you already know. Seals may have been acted in that way, and also we get to know that these seals were probably ownership marks also. So the primary users of seal were the traders. It was used for transportation of good, tied with rope. There will be a knot. That knot was covered with wet clay and a seal was stamped in it. If the seal was intact, that means the goods were authentic. If it was not intact, then it meant that the goods inside have been tampered with. So this was the primary purpose of seal. Now we will see some of the other sources, beginning with the sculpture, the most famous sculpture, that is the bearded man. So it is, as you can see in this picture, a man with a beard, and it was found in Mohenjo Daro. So Mohenjo-daro had this culture of a bearded man, and people believe that it was statue of some kind of a scholar. Why? Because it has eyes half closed. Eyes half closed. And that probably gives an impression of meditation. So if one is in a meditation pose, then he or she may be assumed to be a scholar. That is why people believe that it was the sculpture of a scholar. And this has been also popularly called as priest king. So whenever you find priest king, you understand that it means the bearded man. So these are synonymous, same things. If the question comes that what is a priest king, or write a short note on the priest king, then don't be confused. It means the bearded man only. So it also gives an idea about the Harappan dress and facial expression. So it gives information about dress and expression. In total, it gives us an idea about the skills of Harappan craftsmen. So in order to know that the Harappan sculptors were very much skilled, we have the evidences of the bearded man. The next is another important sculpture, that is the dancing girl, and this again has been found from Mohenjo Daro. So Mohenjo-daro has both the bearded man and the dancing girl. And what does this figure show us? This figure shows us vigor, variety, and ingenuity. Vigor, variety, and also projects the glory of Indus Valley Civilization culture. So that is how the figure of dancing girl is very important. It has right arm on the left hand. So right arm is there on the hips and left hand is there in one of its legs. So left hand, this is left, this is right. So you may feel it as surprising, but if you see it from backwards, this is left and this is right. So left arm is in the leg and right arm is in the waist or touching the hip. So this sculpture may also have been some kind of a yogi or priest. So yogi or priest may have been depicted in this sculpture, and it shows the value artistic skill of the Harappan, because they had knowledge of making 3D figures, and this sculpture was made out of bronze. Okay, probably with the help of lost wax technique. Then we will go to another source of information, that is dockyard. So dockyard is a structure found in Lothal. Lothal is in, sorry, Gujarat. Lothal is there in Gujarat present day, and it is one of the most important in the site that we can find in India today, because Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, all these sites are in Pakistan. So Lothal is a dockyard. Dockyard means where ships used to port. So this was a port for the ships used for trading activities. So this dockyard also gives us an evidence of overseas trade, which means trade crossing the oceans. So overseas trade may have been very important in the Indus Valley Civilization, and thus we get to know about both internal and external trade. So all these things must have happened in Indus Valley Civilization. The dockyard has been connected with other rivers, and this gives us that people had hydraulic knowledge. Hydraulic knowledge. So hydraulic knowledge means knowledge about the functionalities of water or properties of water. This was also surrounded by a massive brick wall on all four sides, probably to protect from, sorry, probably to protect from floods. So massive brick wall may have served the purpose of flood protection. So this dockyard was connected with a channel through the to the Sabarmati or Vogavo river. So it was connected to Sabarmati or Vogavo river. So dockyard may have been like this, rectangular shape, and it had a channel which was connected with a river. So that is how the map shows us. It also had another outlet to the Gulf of Cambay, which was a seal. So there one side it was connected with the Bhokavo river, another side it was connected with the Gulf of Cambay. So that is how the dockyard of Lothal was connected in two sides, and thus it must have been very important for trading activities. So what are the things we find associated with the dockyard? So firstly we find stone anchors which may have been used to stop the ships. We also find marine shells, and along with marine shells we come to understand that the people had engineering skill. Sorry. So marine shells were there along with stone anchors. Now dockyard was linked to the river so that the boats could enter it, and there was also a system of locking in water through gates. So there must have been gates which used to lock the water inside the dockyard, and this gives us evidence of engineering skill of the Harappans. Along with that, we come to know that Lothal was an important center of trade and commerce. So that is all you need to know about the Lothal Dockyard. Okay, so now the next important thing that we need to discuss is the Harappan script. Now, Harappan script is the most useful thing but also useless to us. It was useful only for the Harappans because they knew how to read it, but we don't know how to read it. Hence, despite having a lot of written materials, we know nothing about the literary sources of the Harappans, but still we need to discuss it. So in 1875, the first seal of a humpless bull, H-U-M-P, humpless bull was discovered. It had 6 signs above it. Okay, so there was a seal of a humpless bull which had 6 signs. Then for more than 400 years, people have been trying to decipher all the seals, but still now we don't know the script of Harappans. So script is undeciphered, and we don't know the technology to read it, we don't know the rules to read it, and it does not have any similarity with any other script of the modern age, so we don't know. That is why many questions remain unanswered. So script is the greatest mystery. Sorry, script is the second greatest mystery of Harappan civilization. Now script is regarded as pictographic. Pictographic. Now, what does this word pictographic means? It means that there was no alphabet. Only pictures were used in order to express feelings. So if I say fish, I will write like this. My handwriting is very bad though, but still, fish will be something like this. According to the Harappans, if they mean fish, they will write something like this. So they will draw the fish in order to make the expression clear. So that is how Harappans used a pictographic form of script. Now there are about 375 to 400 symbols. So Harappan scripts have 375 to 400 signs. We can understand a few of them, but not enough to make a proper meaning. So all these symbols do not depict anything in proper sense. Sun, then we have symbol of fish, we have symbol of men, woman, but we still don't know how to interpret a meaning out of them. So script was found inscribed in a number of objects. So objects with scripts. What were the objects with script? We had many objects like seals, most commonly seals, copper tools. Next we had the rims of jars. Rims means, I will tell you, rims of jars. Then we had the terracotta tablets. Next we had the signboard. It may not be given in your book, but signboard was found in the site of Dholavira. And what are rims of jars? A jar may look somewhat like this from the side. So this portion is called base, this portion is called body, and this portion is called rim, which is mainly in jars protruded outside. So this portion is called rim. Inside the rim, sometimes many things were written. Next, we need to know that Harappan scripts was not alphabetic. It was not alphabetic. Okay, because it was pictographic. So Harappan script was not alphabetic, and in many books it is written that it was written from right to left. But the thing is, they use the Bostrofedon format, means from right to left they will start in the next line, in the first line, then in the next line they will start from left to right, again right to left, again left to right. So this thing was called Bostrofedon. The spelling is probably correct, but still, you need to verify it once. Don't be sure on me in this aspect. Okay. So and this is evident. How do we know that a we get the complete writing, right? So how do we know that it was written from left to right or right to left? Because the symbols, if I start writing from right left to right, then I will write like this, like this, like this, like this. Then at the end, where the page will end, there my writing will be very much like above one another, very much close. So from this density we come to understand whether it was written from right to left or left to right. So from the evidences of writing we come to know that enough, sorry, people were enough literate. So variety of writing, variety of writing in different objects state that large number of people were literate. That is all we need to know about script. So there were 6 signs found for 400 years. It is undeciphered. Questions remain unanswered. Pictographic. Then we have about 375 to 400 symbols. In many objects, writings were found. It was not alphabetic. It was Bostrofedon. In many books, ICSE books, Bostrofedon is not given. And The amount of writing shows that people were literate. So that is all you need to know about Harappan script. Next, we will discuss the major cities of Harappa. So from this map itself, we can understand, you see, Harappa is here. So Harappa is in Montgomery district of Punjab. Where is Harappa? Harappa is in Montgomery district of, this is presently in Pakistan. Okay, this Punjab does not mean Indian Punjab. It means Punjab, portion of Punjab which is in Pakistan, mainly the western portion. Then we have Mohenjo-daro. Mohenjo-daro, one of the largest site in Indus Valley Civilization. It is in Larkana. Larkana district of Sindh, which is once again in Pakistan presently. Okay, so these are the two important sites, and both were linked by river Indus. Another important site, Mohenjo-daro, is here. Okay, so this is Mohenjo-daro. Another important site is Chanhu-daro. And where is Chanhu-daro? Chanhu-daro is 130 km south of Mohenjo-daro. You can see here. Chanhu-daro. So Chanhu-daro is 130 km south of Mohenjo-daro. So these are the three important sites of Harappan civilization which you need to know according to ICSE board. For your information, you can take this map. It's available in the internet and you can find out all the important sites. You see, Kalibangan, one of the most important site in India. Then you have Lothal here. Lothal, the dockyard of Lothal. So there are many important sites all over India also, and recently many more sites have been discovered. So all those sites you need to see from a proper map. Take the map published by ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, because they give the most authentic and updated information regarding anything happening in Indian archaeology. Now we will see what are the features of urban planning. So Harappan civilization is famous for its urban planning because it was a striking feature. Town planning, town planning was exceptional. No other contemporary civilization had this kind of town planning. So Mesopotamian civilization and Mesopotamia, or sorry, not or, and Egypt, they followed circular circular pattern. What does that mean? That city will be like this. One road will be like this, then one like this, then one probably like this, then like this. So from the above, if you see, it will look somewhat like a circle. Okay, so city was like this. In the center, probably palaces were there. So this was according to Mesopotamia and Egypt. But what was the pattern of Indus Valley Civilization? Indus Valley Civilization pattern was like this. So Indus Valley Civilization or Harappan Civilization IVC followed grid pattern, and this was exceptionally important because no other civilization of the contemporary time had patterns like this. So streets were straight and they intersected each other at 90-degree angle. So right angle. Okay, all these intersections were right angles because the streets were straight. And how was the city divided? We have already seen city was divided into citadel and lower town. Okay, so city was divided into citadel and lower town. Lower town had the residential buildings. So common people used to live in the lower town and high class people used to live in the citadel. The next important thing is about the street system. So main streets were from east to west or from north to south. So they followed cardinal directions. So all the streets were based properly on the cardinal directions. Means they had high knowledge about the uh, compass, about the proper measurement of directions, how to find out proper directions. The next important thing is drainage system. Now, this thing requires a separate discussion on its own because this drainage system was very efficient and drains were connected to the main street drains. Okay, all the drains were covered in main cities. All the drains were covered. So we understand the sense of, sorry, the sense of sanitation and health. So they were very much concerned about the hygiene and welfare. And there were also manholes so that people can get inside and remove any kind of blockage. Also, these drains were cleaned periodically. Okay, so all of these drains were cleaned periodically after a fixed interval in order to maintain proper hygiene system. The next important thing is houses. How were the houses of the Harappan cities? So from the picture itself you can see that houses were very planned and well organized. So they were built on high mound. High mound means raised platform. So they were built on raised platform which is high mound, and it had a set pattern. So all the cities had a pattern, and before building the house, proper designs were made. The foundations were, sorry, the foundations were deep. Okay, so that superstructure can be constructed. Many houses were made from burnt bricks. Okay, so burnt bricks was there, used for the making of many houses. How was the layout? The layout of house was very simple, like the village houses of today. So there was a courtyard in the middle. Okay, so there was a courtyard in the middle and rooms around it. So in the middle there will be a courtyard and there will be rooms around the courtyard. So this was the system of the house. In the middle there will be a blank space. Some houses had even 12 rooms. So 12 rooms were there in some houses, along with private wells and toilets. Okay, so this is applicable only for some houses, probably the houses of leaders or uh, like high class individuals. The roofs were flat with wooden beams and mud. Flat roofs with wooden beams and mud. What is beam? Beam is the support. Beam is the support which holds the roof. Okay, so mud will be there. Suppose two pillars will be there like this, then there will be mud above it. So that is how roofs were constructed. Now entrances and privacy of the house was one of the biggest features. So houses open to narrow lanes and not to the main streets. This was done for the maintenance of privacy. So if this is the street, if this is the street and this is the entrance of the house, suppose this is the entire house complex, this is the gate of the house, there will be a broad gate, but in front of the gate there will be a wall like this, restricted short wall, so that no one from outside can see inside of the house directly, and no one from inside can see outside of the house directly. So if the people wants to go outside, they will have to go like this. Okay, so that is how narrow lanes were there which opened the house to the main street. And kitchen kitchen where cooking was done, it was located in the corner of courtyard. Okay, so in one corner of the courtyard kitchen used to be there. Houses had doors and windows, ventilators, so there were doors, windows, ventilators. You can understand this. What is this for? This is for proper air circulation, for air and light. one important feature is that no windows on the main street site. So if this is the house, suppose this is the house and this is the main street, then the rooms here will not have windows. Rooms here will not have windows to the outside. Okay, so beside the main street, if there is any room, those windows will not be opened towards the main street. Now we will see another important feature of Harappan civilization, that is the granaries. What are granaries? So granaries have been found in Harappa. Where are the main places where granaries have been found? In, sorry, Harappa, Mohenjo-daro and Lothal, also in Kalibangan. In many other places also granaries have been found, but these are the main places where we find granaries. We have studied about granary of Mohenjo-daro, but that does not mean granary was there only in Mohenjo-daro. It was there in many important sites of Harappan civilization. So granary in Harappa had two rows of granaries, each having 6 rooms. So 2 rows, and each row had 6 rooms. So it was like this: one big row, another big row, and then there will be 6 rooms like this. I don't know if I am drawing 6, but like this. So 2 rows with 6 rooms for proper air circulation. There used to be narrow passage within the rooms also. Narrow passage within the rooms, and there was working floor in south of the granary. So Harappa granary only we are discussing. We will rub this out. So south of the granary there was a working floor with circular brick platform. So this working floor had a circular brick platform. So on the south of the granary, there was a place like this circle, which was used probably for threshing, threshing of wheat. Okay, so this circular brick platform was used for threshing of wheat and also for barley. Now remember this: in any ancient civilization, the first things cultivated or the first evidence of agriculture can be found with barley and wheat. So if someone asks you that what was the crop of Mesopotamia, what was the chief crop cultivated in Egypt, you can, without any second guess, you can write wheat and barley. So granaries had supporting structures also. So 2 rooms barracks were there. 2 roomed barracks were there beside granaries, probably for the laborers. So beside the granaries there were several rooms. Okay, so several rooms were there, and these were probably rooms where the workers stayed. Okay, so that is how the granaries had many supporting structure along with it. So the granary in Harappa was located near Ravi. So it was located on the side of Ravi river, which suggests that transport was there through the boats. So boat transport was prevalent. Then we have the evidence of raised platform. Granaries were obviously made in raised platform, probably to protect against floods. Wherever you find raised platform in Harappan civilization, you will know that it was protection against flood. So there was also proper ventilation. So these are all the features of granaries. Now we will discuss what were the main activities related to trade. Now before I get into trade, I would like you to see the map. You see in the civilization is here, and we have internal trade. You see Harappa, the main center. We have Mohenjo-daro here. So from here, internal trade was done, and the blue lines are external trade. So here we find a place called Dilmun. Then we find a place called Magan. Magan is Oman coast. Dilmun is Persia, and this is the place Uruk. All these are places of Mesopotamian civilization. So trade, how do we know at first that there was trade? Trade can be known from the evidences like granaries. Then we have seals. Then we have uniform script. After that, we also have weights and measures. So all these evidences suggest that there was a proper trade system. So Harappans traded both within India and Asia. So they had both internal and external trade. Starting with internal trade. What are the main features of internal trade? So internal trades were done with items like stone, metal and shell. Stone, metal and shell. Okay, so these were products of internal trade, and they did not use metal money. They had barter instead of metal money. So barter system was prevalent, means things instead of things, no money. Then what were the trade centers? Next important point of discussion is trade centers and goods. What were the objects of trade? So trade center means location or points of trade, and items of trade. So Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and Lothal. I'm going to write it separately. Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and Lothal. These were important centers of metallurgy. Means items of metals used to be made here. What kind of items? Mainly tools, weapons, and kitchenware. So these were all items of metallurgical trade which was there in Harappa, Mohenjo-daro and Lothal. The second important thing is rice. Where did the Harappans get rice from? From Punjab and Gujarat. So these were main centers of rice. Cotton was also there. Cotton the Harappans got from Lothal and another place called Surkatoda. So these were the places, Lothal and Surkatoda, from where the Harappans got cotton. Then there were centers of bangle making also, because bangles were important ornaments. Bangle making. And what were the centers of bangle making? Banawali, this is in India. Banawali, Balakot, and very important site, Chanhu Daro. Okay, so these were important sites of uh, this bangle making, and also we had another important activity which is bead manufacturing. Bead means puthi. You know, bead used to look somewhat like this. See on the left hand side corner. So there is to be a narrow hole passing through, and from here the thread used to go. So many beads will be connected together to form an ornament, mainly necklaces or the things you can wear. So bead in Bengali, it the exact translation is puthi. I don't know what it is actually called in Hindi. So bead making factories were there in Lothal and again Chanhudaro. So these are the major items and trading centers. The next important thing that we need to discuss is probably one of the most amazing feature of trade, that is trade with Mesopotamia. So Mesopotamia and Western India had very good connections with the Harappans. I will write here Meso sorry Mesopotamia. So Mesopotamian trade used to happen, means it is another the first civilization, the cradle of civilization is the Mesopotamian civilization, and they had very good connection with the Harappans. So Mesopotamian records are there from when? From 2350 BC. The Mesopotamian records mention a region called Meluha, which is this region. So Meluha is the region of Indus Valley Civilization, and we have deciphered the Mesopotamian script. Hence, we know that Mesopotamians used to refer the Indus civilization as Meluha. So Indus civilization IVC was Meluha. Then we get evidence of another place called Dilmun. I had said you in the beginning of this slide, Dilmun. What is Dilmun? Dilmun is the place of Bahrain, and also we get Magan, Magan, which is also called Makran, Makran coast. Okay, so these are the places with which the Mesopotamians traded, and trade was carried out through sea routes. All this trade was external. So we come to know that Indus Valley Civilization had the capability to make ships which could go in deep oceans. Also, in case of external trade, we understand that Lothal, Surkatoda, and Balakot were ports. So here ships used to dock. Okay, so these were like trading centers, important trading centers, and that can be known from the depiction of ships and boats. So that is all about trade. Now we will discuss one of the most important thing required for trade. Even though we do not trade this object, but without this thing, every trade will be gone. So weights and measures. Weights and measures are very important because they were made out of stone and they were uniform all across IVC. So all across Indus Valley Civilization or Harappan Civilization, weights and measures were uniform. Means what is 1 kg worth of weight in Harappa, that 1 kg of worth of weight will be same in Mohenjo-daro also, or anywhere outside. So they used cubical weights. You can see here weights were in the form of cubes. So they used cubical weights. What other important feature is that basic unit was 16. We have many kinds of units. So one unit was roughly 14 grams. We don't know what kind of metric system they used because we don't have idea of writing of how the Harappans wrote. So from the evidences, from the weights and measures found, we understand that the basic unit was something like 16. We have different units of measurement like centimeters, then we have inches. We also have like measuring systems. Decimal means in count of 10 mainly. Then we have hexadecimal in the count of 60. So time is measured in hexadecimal. So like that, I am not too much expert in this counting system, but unit was mainly in 16. So how did the units proceeded? It proceeded from 32, then we had plus 16, 48, then again plus 16, 64, then 128. There were units like this. Okay, and smaller weights were in the fractions of 16. Smaller weights were in the fractions of 16. So it may have been like 1 by 16 or 2 by 16, like this. 2 by 16 is actually 2 by 8. Anyways, so like this, there were smaller weights. So that is all we need to know about the weight system of Harappan civilization. Now is another most important feature of trade, which is transport. So evidence of ships have been found throughout Indus Valley Civilization and mainly from the seals in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. So mainly from the seals in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, we get evidences of seals, drawings are there. Then a terracotta model of ship, Lothal. Lothal has a terracotta model of ship. We also have other important information regarding trade, that is, for inland trade, ships cannot go everywhere, right? So we needed transportation for land also. So for inland trade, we had bullock carts, the oldest mode of transport. Bullock carts. So bullock carts was there for inland trade, and other information available are from the evidences found in Harappa and Chanhudaro. Harappa and Chanhudaro. What does these places have? These places have copper and bronze models of carts, sometimes also with seated drivers. Until the excavation done till today, we don't get any evidence of ships or bullock carts in its entirety, but we can know them from the different inscriptions, paintings, and seals where those mode of transports are drawn. So we also get evidence of ekka. What is ekka? Ekka means horse cart. So this thing has also been found in the Harappan civilization, not in its proper physical form, but in the form of drawings and sculptures. Next, we will discuss about the art and craft of Indus Valley civilization. So what does the art and craft include? What is the syllabus of art and craft? They have clay items made of clay, then they have items made of burnt clay, which is terracotta. They also have stone and bronze sculptures. Okay, along with seals and beads. So even though seals and beads were used for trade and ornament, they are obviously examples of art and culture. A piece of woven cotton was found in Mohenjo-daro. Woven cotton. Cottons do not survive for thousands of years, but still an evidence of a woven cotton was found in Mohenjo-daro. Okay, so these were important features of art and craft. We also have terracotta figurines. Figurine means small sculptures, not life size. So terracotta figurines, terracotta figurines including the sculptures of mother sorry mother goddess, and also we get bearded males. Okay, so these were the terracotta figurines which we get in large amount. Then there was an art of bronze casting. Bronze bronze casting. This art was called lost wax process. This what is lost wax process we will discuss later. In our later slide we have a topic on lost wax process. And also we get bronze figures. What bronze figures we get? We get bronze figures of animals, different animals like buffalo, cows, tiger. We don't get lion though. So animals and models of carts. Okay, so these are the bronze figures that we get. And Harappan pottery was glossy, decorated with black geometric design that we will discuss later. So this is all about art and craft. Clay, terracotta, stone, bronze sculptures, seals and beads, woven cotton, which is very important. It is many times asked from where did we get woven cottons. Then terracotta figurines, bronze casting technique was there along with bronze figures. Now we will discuss crafts and industries. This is also a part of art and culture. Crafts and industries means people, there were dedicated people to make some specialized stuffs. What were those dedicated people and what did they make? So the first important thing they made was boat making. This was one of the most important job in the civilization. And also seal making. Then we have making of terracotta articles. So all these things were made. People were dedicated to make all these things. Then subjects of seals, figurines we have already discussed. Also people wore heavy ornaments. Okay, so jewelry was very much important along with elaborate headgear. Okay, so elaborate headgear was also there. The terracotta objects also included terracotta objects also included bullock carts and plows. What are plows? Plows used to look somewhat like this. So they used to dig the soil here. Soil will be here. They used to dig the soil. So these were plows. Now we will go into details about jewelry making and bead making. So goldsmiths were there. Goldsmiths who made ornaments of gold, silver and precious stones. So goldsmiths were there along with silversmiths. So goldsmiths were there, silversmiths were there, and also workers for precious stones and bead making. You see, these are beads, ornaments made. You see, a necklace being made, and beads were drilled with holes. So, bead making was one of the most important occupation. Whenever you write bead making, you don't forget to mention the site of Daro. Okay, so Daro was important center of bead making. Then we have advanced craftsmanship. Advanced craftsmanship, of many more advanced things which told about the aesthetic sense of people. So that was all about jewelry making and bead making. Now we will see about the Harappan pottery. Pottery sherds or broken pot sherds are very important sources of information for any civilization. Why? Because every pottery is distinctive. The pottery type of Harappa will not be similar to that of Mesopotamia or any other civilization. And what was the characteristic feature? The characteristic feature of Harappan pottery was it was glossy and shining. Okay, so pottery was glossy and shining. It was not handmade, not handmade. Means what was used in the making of it? It was made using potter's wheel. Okay, so wheel made pottery, there will be a wheel like this, then there will be a mud lump, and hands will be there. This will constantly rotate in one direction, and they will make a shape out of this mud lump. So what kind of decorations were there? Decorations were made with black color. And what kind of drawings were there? Black geometric patterns. Okay, so that was all about pottery. And how were the shapes? Shapes were also very interesting. The jars had narrow necks. What are necks? If this is a jar, then this portion is called neck. So shapes were jars with narrow necks, red pots with black decoration which show high artistic skill. All these things show high, don't forget to write it, artistic skill. So that was all you needed to know about Harappan pottery. Now we'll go to another important aspect, which is sculpture. So this is also a very short slide. Harappans obviously had very skilled sculptors. What else did they have? The sculptures included humans, we have already discussed this, humans and animals. Everything was depicted and they were very much realistic. So they also had detailed anatomical features, means body parts were drawn or made very carefully. Anatomical features. Detailed anatomical features. The statues were made with what? They were made with stone, bronze, and terracotta. So stone, bronze, and terracotta was the primary ingredient behind the making of any culture or most cultures. So large number of stone images have also been discovered, which is unique. Then we have discussion about the terracotta figurines. Terracotta figurines were found in large numbers. Mostly all the items of art and craft were terracotta figurines. So they were found in large numbers. What else do we know? The important figure was that of a mother, sorry, was that of a mother goddess. Also, bearded male appeared a lot. We find a lot of these sculptures. Probably it was some kind of a god. Then also we get toys or cult figures. What are cult figures? Means figures which hold special significance for a specific community. So those are cult figures, and both male and female were equally made. Male and female figurines were made with in equal numbers, almost equal numbers. So there was no gender disparity. Now we will see what is bronze casting technique. I have already told you that we will discuss this later. So this was the wide scale practice. Wide scale practice. So it was a practice which was very much done in Indus Valley Civilization. Why? Because it was very much easy to make. And here at first the figures were coated with clay. So they use this process, lost wax process. Lost wax. What used to happen in this process? Step one was that figures coated in clay. What was step two? Step two was that wax was melted, and step three was that molten metal poured in the wax. Okay, so molten metal was poured into the wax, and thus we get accurate and detailed sculptures. You can go through the videos of lost wax process in the internet. Okay, so search this lost wax process in the internet. You will get a lot of videos, and then you will be able to understand it better. Now we will see what were the famous bronze figures. So bronze figures, we already know that dancing girl was there. Dancing girl, it was found in Mohenjo-daro. So dancing girl was one of the most important thing. Then we have animals. Also we get carts, models made out of bronze, and this show that people had, sorry, knowledge of metallurgy or how metals function. Next thing is dress, what the people used to wear. So men and women obviously had separate dress. So men wore dhoti, but not like the typical type of dhoti we wear today. And from where do we get this? We get this in a pot shirt. shirt from Harappa. So men wore dhoti and we get this. Pot shirt means broken pieces of pots. What they also wore shawls. So the men wore shawls also. Shawls as an upper garment. So shawls were there as upper garment, and as seen in the priest, bearded priest. Okay, so priest king, example you will give, priest king sculpture. So men used to wear shawls along with dhoti as the lower garment. What the women used to wear? Women used to wear skirt, but don't think like the skirt women wear today, and used a cloak to cover arms and shoulders. Cloak to cover arms and shoulders. There were also discovery of needles and buttons. This shows that some clothes were stitched. So this is very important because stitching shows aesthetic sense of people. Next we will discuss about the ornaments. So both, here is one thing to be noted, both men and women or ornaments. Okay, both men and women or ornaments. Throughout history both men and women have owned ornaments. So don't be under the misconception that ornaments were there only for women. So what kind of ornaments were there? Mainly necklaces. Then we had finger rings. We also had bangles. Kalibangan was famous for bangles. Armlets, they were just like bangles worn above the elbow. Then we had anklets, nose rings, earrings, and fan shaped headdress. Sorry, fan shaped headdress. This means that uh, it was like a crown. If a face is like this, then above the head it will be a design like this. So just like a pagri but in fan shape. So this was very much common. And what were the ornaments made out of? They were made out of gold, silver, sometimes precious stones, stones, and also ivory. So that was all about the ornaments of Harappan civilization. Next we have toys and amusements. People enjoyed games. Many gaming items have been found. games and entertainment. Entertainment was very important in Harappan civilization. Dice have been found in many places, and also hunting hunting and fishing was important. So people played dice games along with hunting and fishing. Drum and lyre, musical instruments like drum and lyre is a string instrument. Lyre have been found, or things which looked like drum and lyre have been found. Then there were toys also, toys which were like birds, animals. I'm not writing anymore. Animals, figurines, all these things, whatever you have read in the before slides. Now we will see how did such a great civilization decline. So this is one of the greatest mystery of Harappan civilization. No one can confirm why the civilization suddenly ceased to exist. So decline happened in around 1800 BC. In around 1800 BC, there was decline, and several causes have been suggested. So for decline, there are several causes. We will discuss all those causes one by one. We will try to as much as possible. So floods and earthquakes were seen as one of the main cause. So people believe that flood in Mohenjo-daro was there, and that is why it was abandoned. So flood in Mohenjo-daro led to its abandonment. Then we have evidence of silty clay deposits. Silty clay deposits. What is silt? Silt means suppose an area is filled with water. After some time, the water will dry off, but there will be a layer of soil. That layer of soil is called silt. So people rebuild settlements on debris. Means there were ruins, people again rebuild them. So there was evidence of rebuilding also. Rebuilding evidence, but ultimately left. Okay, why did they leave? That is only the greatest mystery. So we have hydrologists like R.L. Rakes. He was an hydrologist, means one who studies about the functionalities of water. So what did he say? He said that tectonic uplift tectonic plates are plates inside the earth which supposedly control the movement of land masses and sometimes causes phenomena like earthquakes. So tectonic plates were uplifted and that blocked rivers. Okay, so thus the rivers ceased to exist, and ultimately because of shortage of water people left. So these were the causes or evidences behind floods and earthquakes. Now we will see how did increased aridity help in the decline of Indus Valley Civilization. So this theory was proposed by D.P. Agarwal and Sood. What did they say? They said that increase in aridity means the water vapor or the percentage of water reduced, the air became dry, and thus there was decline of the civilization, and this has been evidenced by the drying up of Ghaggar river Ghaggar. This is the evidence of Saraswati Saraswati river. So drying up of river Ghaggar led to the decline. Also Sutlej and Yamuna. These were tributaries of Ghaggar. Ghaggar, they changed course, changed direction, and became tributaries of Indus and Ganga. So Yamuna went to Ganga and Sutlej went to Indus. So that is how the disturbances were there, and ecological change was there. Ecological means changes in the environment. So ecological change led to agriculture, reduced agriculture. So this led to reduction in agriculture. Thus, the Harappan civilization declined. According to whom? According to D.P. Agarwal and Sood. There was another one condition proposed, that is deforestation and Aryan attack. So, large scale use of wood, large scale use of wood led to deforestation. So large scale use of wood led to deforestation, and this caused climatic climatic change. But some historians are there, like Mortimer Wheeler. They propose a theory called Aryan invasion theory. But this theory says that if imagine, not imagine, this is India. Here we have something called Caspian Sea. Caspian Sea, and here we have India. So this theory states that from Caspian Sea the Aryans came to India. Who came? Aryans. And when Aryans came, that time here there was Indus Valley Civilization. So they had a fight. Here there was a fight with the people of Indus Valley Civilization, and that is how the Indus Valley Civilization ceased to exist. So this was Aryan invasion theory. But this theory, and what was the evidence in support of this theory? 13 skeletons, 13 skeletons were found in Mohenjo Daro. So from these 13 skeletons, Mortimer Wheeler and many other Indian historians also assume that the Aryans attacked Indus Valley Civilization, and that is how Indus Valley Civilization was destroyed. But later on, there was DNA analysis and many other scientific researches which show that these 13 skeletons were skeletons of the Indus Valley people only. They may have died because of some regional conflict, and a war where whole civilization will be destroyed, that war will definitely have a lot more than 13 dead bodies. So that is how this theory was refuted, because there is no scientific evidence. But still, in order to give a sense of Western superiority, many people believe in this Aryan invasion theory. Now we will see, as a conclusion, that what is the heritage of Harappan civilization. So Harappan civilization did not completely disappear. The most important thing to be kept in mind, did not completely disappear. Okay, it continued in regional cultures. This phase is called a late Harappan phase. Okay, so these regional cultures had features of Harappan civilization. So practices like baked bricks, pottery, jewelry making, it influenced sorry influenced later cultures. What else can be taken as heritage? We get religious ideas, ideas which continued in India, like Pashupati. What else? Mother goddess. Then animals. So Pashupati, mother goddess, serpents, animals, all these things have been continued in later Indian traditions. So these all continued, and that is how Harappa is a part of India's cultural heritage. And with this, we end our video on the Harappan civilization. Hope you have liked it, and this is my channel where I give videos regarding history. For many days this channel was stopped because of lack of support and excitement among the students. I hope this time I have been able to make videos in a more detailed manner, and with your support and confidence in me, I hope to grow in future. Thank you for your love and support. If you have any doubts, you can write it in comments. Thank you.